Hey, everybody, and welcome in to another episode of Vox and Jed Fight About It. This episode being episode 46. And I gotta ask you a question, dear viewer, and that question is, would I be the asshole if I didn't introduce Jed right now? Would that make me an asshole, perchance?
I don't think so. I think that you could also run over your sister, and that would be okay too, actually.
Yeah, you know what? I'll upvote that. I'll stand by that. We're doing an Am I the Asshole themed episode today, folks. And I don't feel like that bears explaining because every podcast like fucking ever forever has done an Am I the Asshole episode. Hell, there are shows built around it. It's a tried and true formula. And
we're taking our own spin on it.
We're taking our own spin on it. Fuck it. Everybody else gets to milk this cash cow of Am I the Asshole on podcast dry, and suddenly, because we're doing it in 2025, it's a problem. Fuck you. Fuck you, dear viewer. A minute of fuck you. No, we're doing an Am I the Asshole episode. You're the asshole. Where we each have showed up, and we each have some stories, and I may have misprepared, because we originally planned this.
We were a little confused.
We originally planned this to be like our hypotheticals episode, where we would each go off separately and prep 5 Am I the Asshole posts that like we think we would agree with and we think the other person would disagree with, like ones we would find controversial enough. Like, who are the biggest assholes that we could say are not an asshole? You know, basically was the game I was playing with these. So, be fair warned. I had that game in mind, and Jed forgot about it when prepping his, so we're just not doing it. Plus, I think, actually, in hindsight, that's better, because it's a little too similar to what we have planned for Mr. 50, which I don't know if we've talked about publicly, but you'll see the similarity.
We have. You challenged me to it.
Oh, right, I challenged you. I threw down the goddamn gauntlet, and so I feel like it would be a little uncouth of me to throw down the gauntlet twice within, like, 3 episodes of each other, when one of those throwing down the gauntlets is for the big 50. And so
and the other
now we're doing just sort of a loose read them and talk about them. Am I the asshole? But mine are like a little aggressive and weird. But I think they're
mine
fun.
get pretty weird too.
I would have prepped way different if I had known what kind of show we were doing. How are you feeling about the Am I the Asshole episode, Jed? How are you feeling going into this? Because I genuinely I don't know how this is gonna turn out.
I'm feeling pretty good about it. I picked a couple of stories that I thought were gonna be really. Not necessarily interesting. They were genuinely just the best stories I could find, and the ones that I feel like we could talk the most about because they're bizarre. I don't know how many of these are real. Fair warning to this audience: do not take any of these as fact.
No,
I did not look at the comments or anything. Yeah, these are. That's how Am I the Asshole works. I doubt that like any percentage of Am I the Asshole is like real. Like, yeah.
I think a lot
but I'm
of
excited about it.
I don't know, man. I ran into so much, and you were expressing this to me before the show. Of just like, hey, Am I the Asshole was kind of just sad. It was kind of just like, that's something that I noticed too, and I had to stop you because I was like, man, I want to talk about this on the show. Let's not talk about this off the show. This is my subject. You're like, I heard Jed go into my whole conceit because he gave my exact thought process, which was there's so many posts that are just, hey, I'm a sad, pathetic 40-year-old man who did something fucked up to his wife and now wants validation from the internet about it, you know? Or vice versa.
Yeah.
There are, like, women doing that, too. And then the rest of that is made up by children going, am I the asshole for saying fuck you to the teacher because I didn't do my homework this week? You know?
Yeah.
Like, no, Billy Badass, you are not... I guess you are an asshole, yeah, but you're not as cool as you think you are for like doing this.
You're cool. You're just
or
kind
posting
of an
it on
asshole.
Reddit. You're just kind of a dickhead kid, yeah. And so like, I find the actual environment of the Am I the Asshole subreddit, along with the rest of the cesspool of the Reddit website, to be just kind of uninhabitable and sad.
Yeah. I don't know. I was a Redditor at some point in time, and that was a bad time for me, dude. The dank memes subreddit was
Oh no, man.
terrible. It was a terrible place to be. As a middle school boy, it was awful. And like, it's easy. Reddit is easy. Is just the easiest social media platform because I remember I was in like a JoJo's subreddit and I made literally a meme that took me 10 minutes and I went, "This is horse shit. Nothing's going to come of this. I'm going to post it." And then it came out with like 10,000 likes. It's my most liked thing on the internet ever. And it was some shitty meme I made about JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. And it's a cesspool over there of like hive mind. Because what I did was I just took like the trend in that subreddit and just did it. I just did it again and it worked. And I'm mad about it because that's my mark on the internet. That's my biggest mark on the internet.
I hate,
but nonetheless,
personally, I hate the Reddit community at large, not for their dank memery. That in and of itself is its own brand of cringe that I hate for different reasons. But I hate Reddit much more because why am I dodging fucking invisible security lasers everywhere I go on this website? I'm just trying to fix my carburetor, man. I'm sorry I didn't put the "I'm fixing the carburetor" on my 92 Civic tag on the post, dog. How the fuck was I to know that was there without actively searching for it? You know, like I've had times where going for like, and it's always for like help because I never come to Reddit for anything else other than like expertise. And granted, it's not very good at that either. It's kind of like a Hail Mary last hope. Does anybody know how to fix this? For me.
Yeah, please,
and
God,
so
anybody.
I'm really in depth when I go to Reddit with these things of just like, I'll go read the entire subreddit rules. And then there's like, it's the same thing that we talked about, that we've talked about in the past where it's like, it's just an over-policed website. I think there are just too many, like being a Reddit mod paints such a vivid image in your head for a reason. And I think it's because that website is just not navigable unless you're the kind of pedantic dickhead to care that, like, a post about bees in a bee subreddit didn't have, like, stinger on tag on it. Like, to help, like, distinguish from the posts where stingers aren't visible. You know?
Yeah.
Like, I get it.
Yeah.
It's a community.
Reddit
It has to be a certain way. But, like... And that's just fine, but like it is just not something that computes for me.
They take themselves too damn seriously.
Yeah, I much prefer the Tumblr way of doing things with tags and flair, where it's like, yeah, you could put a tag on something, and then there's not really like subgenre. I mean, there are, but it's kind of just groups of guys. There's not a dedicated section of the website for every niche, and so it's just a set of like, yeah. This is my like Doctor Who thing. I've tagged it with a bunch of Doctor Who tags. Are those in your interests at all? Good, you'll see them. Are those not in your interests? Good, you won't see it. Like, it's that easy over there.
Yeah.
You let them know what you like, you let them know what you don't like, and you just curate. And that's how social media used to fucking be, man. But, you know, and Reddit's one of the oldest
Reddit's
ones, so
always
it's kind
been
of
an
like...
issue.
But it's just kind of always been that way. That's what's an outlier about it. It's just Reddit has been this way from day one. It didn't really get worse. It sort of just was.
Yeah,
but where on earth the fuck do we begin? Do you want to start, or shall I start?
That's what I'm wondering. I've technically got one more than you, so if I start, it'll make a Jed sandwich of this episode. So I guess we'll do that.
Oh yeah, you've got one more, so it'll check her out nice. So we'll let you start. Yeah.
Yeah.
Throw us one, Jed. What kind of tomfoolery did you possibly have for us?
All right.
Give us a tale.
Let me get a really funny one. Am I the asshole for letting my kids loot my brother's house to prove my point?
I scrolled past this one because I was like, there's no way that this guy is defensible in any way. There's genuinely no fucking way that this guy is in any way defensible. All right, give it to me.
All right.
No,
my
you want to
brother
talk
and
more
his
about
family
the thing?
came
Go
for a
ahead.
visit last month. No, I don't. That was just the title, and I was just laughing about it.
Okay, you said cuz like you have more to say. Anyway, your brother, well, the poster's brother and their family, of course. Yeah, not your brother. We're being clear here. Read and post. Go.
My brother and his family came to visit last month. My kids and I play with Lego, and we have fun leaving little dioramas around my house. Just silly, fight between Iron Man and Darth Vader on the Loot Llama. It's our great way of leaving Easter eggs around the house. My nephew really liked them and decided to take a few home.
That's
When
fun.
we noticed they were missing, I asked my brother to bring them back. He said it was just kids being kids, and then he would bring them next time we saw each other. I saw him for coffee, and I reminded him beforehand that we wanted our stuff back, and he quote-unquote forgot to bring the toys. Okay, game on. We went over to his place for a barbecue. I know. That's what I stopped reading this when I was finding
Can we
this.
hold at Game On for a minute and just talk unpack this so far real quick? Because Jesus fuck.
Yeah. I copied this when I read Game On. I was like, yeah, this motherfucker said Game On about, like, Legos going missing.
Because I understand going well out of your way. I'm sure this isn't the first time that this, like, guy has done something, and maybe we'll get into that. But, like, this brother has, like, done something. But, like, dude, it's just Lego. Like, at the end of the day, I can't, it's a sweet thing that you do with your kids, and I'm sure that's what makes it matter to you. I don't think I could ever be at the point where something, like, not, $10 worth of Legos, even. Like, $10 worth of plastic parts like that could have me, like, twisted up in a knot to the point where I'm like, I'm just gonna let my kids free roam your home and destroy it.
Game on.
Yeah, fuck it, game on. The gloves are off, buddy. Anyway, continue.
So this is continuing. We went over to his place for a barbecue, and I told my kids that unless all our stuff was returned to us when we got there, literally anything in the house was fair game. Like the godless barbarians they are, they went to town. When we left, I don't think there were any more remotes, small electronics, or beer mugs left at his house. I actually had to sneak the dog back into the house before we left.
Holy fuck, they tried to steal the dog?
They tried to steal the fucking dog,
dude. Tried to pack the goddamn dog. That would have been the funniest thing. See, because that's what I was imagining. I was imagining this poor bastard who, like, whose kid stole some Legos one time from his brother's house. We're gonna, like, come home from, like, family vacation or some shit to just a destroyed house. Just, like, they've let their kids, like, break open drywall and shit. Like, there's holes in the walls, the carpet's filthy. Like, I was imagining just, like, all their valuables fucked. Like, I was worried that it was gonna be, like, a jewelry cabinet that was about to get raided here. Not, like, I took all the, like, caps off of your toothpaste. Haha. This is much
like
less
really
of an
annoying
move,
shithead things.
This is perfectly fine reaction then, I think. This is well tiered. I was worried they were gonna, like, overreact. I'm glad he didn't.
I started getting calls on our way home, and I ignored them. When I got home, I returned his calls. He said a bunch of stuff was missing from his house, and I said I would check up with the kids. He said that I fucking well knew what happened, and that he wanted his shit back. I said I would box his stuff up, and next time we saw each other, I'd bring it, so long as he brought the Legos. He was at my house with the Legos later that evening. He had accidentally even included stuff that wasn't even ours, and returned it, and I returned his and... returned it and his stuff that's badly written.
I
told him that this is how we would be dealing with his kid in the future. He's pissed off that he had to make a special trip to return my stuff. My parents think there's a huge difference between an 8-year-old taking Lego minifigures and a couple of teenagers pillaging their uncle's house. These were teenagers. Okay. That does change
them being
it up
teenagers,
a little bit, I think.
Them being teenagers makes it better, I think. I think it's better that you got...
Really?
I think it paints a better picture for these to be, like, 8-year-olds. Like, the same age as this other kid running around like, we're gonna put the dog in the back of the car, it'll be funny. But I feel like teenagers... I feel like I would have a lot less... That's where a lot of my problem with this guy came in. This poster is that he... was, like, in the title, it painted this image of, he borrowed something from me or did something that I did not like, and thus I pulled up to his house with my 3 shithead kids, opened the back door, and just set them loose without a word. And, like, I thought that's what we were getting to. Is like, he told him to loot. He told him to loot and just sent him out. Like, I pictured that's what was happening here. Well, yes, but the execution on that was by teenagers, not 8-year-olds. That's a very different thing to ask a 14-year-old to do that than to ask an 8-year-old to do it. An 8-year-old's gonna put holes in your walls and fucking crayon on your, like, crown molding and shit. Like, teenagers will just do some conniving, like, perfectly fine for a prank shit, like, shit, the living room TV remote is gone for a couple days. Haha. Very funny, you know?
Yeah. So what is your verdict on it? Is he the asshole or not?
I came into this thinking this guy was damn near indefensible. There was just nothing you could do for him, but not the asshole, I think. I think you're not the dickhead in this scenario. I think no matter how small, if you tell somebody you'll do something and you habitually forget to do it, after like 3 like strikes of that, dude, even two, because I think he only said it was 2. But 2 times is enough for me to, okay, dude. Because, like, sometimes, Jed, you don't understand. Guys like this guy's brother just keep living like that forever if they never face consequence for it at all. Like, if they don't ever see the other side of it, they just won't gain the knowledge that, fuck, that's actually really shitty of me. You know? And, like, because it's his brother and because it's, like, because it, like, stemmed from, like, you know, they sullied this cute thing that I do with my kids, so I started doing a different cute thing with my kids, and that was this project of get the cute thing back, and then we can do that again. You know? And I feel like...
Yeah.
I feel like I would be 100% on board with this guy being the asshole if these were, like, children we were talking, like, babies running around, but, like, also... I feel like this guy would be an asshole if he himself did the looting. Like, he stole, like, the mugs and the shit without getting the kids involved at all. I feel like getting the kids to do it and getting the kids hype about doing it is, like, then it's just family fun. Then it's just, like, we're pulling a prank on Uncle What's-His-Name, you know? And it's just, like, to teach him a quick lesson in, hey, pal, maybe, like, don't take stuff and then keep it for so goddamn long, dude. What the hell?
Yeah.
No matter even something so little. What do you think? What's your verdict? What's your end on this?
I think... See, this is my issue, is that I think he's still an asshole, but I don't think he's, like, a huge asshole. I think it's an asshole in the way of, like, dude, do you, like... You can just, like, confront him in like, an adult way, but also, why the fuck not? If it really didn't hurt anybody, ultimately, so, not the asshole, I guess?
I really hate to make assumptions on people like this, and if it was a first offense, sure. Like, if this is the, like, but, like, I don't know, man. The fact that they're brothers, the fact that the person who posted this and the other guy are brothers, tells me that this shit's been happening for a while. If this is a flaw that your sibling has, you will be aware of it before you have kids, dude. Like, and so, I'm sure there's, like, an aspect of it, to it that we're not getting, benefit of the doubt, choo-choo. But assuming without that benefit of the doubt, no, yeah, he's probably an asshole, but not really. Like, even then, with zero notice, it's just like, I don't know, you're escalating in a fun way. So I feel like escalating is fine. Yeah. You know, it hurt nobody. Nobody got hurt at all. He learned the lesson they wanted him to. I don't see the problem here. I see no qualm.
The only actual hurt that happened was the fact that he, like, here, take, like, the Legos back, and also this, like, 3-year-old's, like, toy that I found somewhere that he might have stolen at some point. Just give me my shit back, please. Like, that was the only issue with it. But that's, I guess, I could see that,
but, like, the kid fucking steals. He has, like, a theft problem. Like, this all came about because the kid stole, like, multiple things. So, like, if the kid might have had a thing or two go missing as a repercussion, even though it's, like, an 8-year-old who, like, barely has a good grasp on, like, I do thing, I get in trouble, like, I still think it's, like, it's fine. It's okay. That's a fine consequence for that child to face.
I don't know. That's, like, a second grader.
Yeah, but
I
still,
think a second grader knows good and well not to steal.
Well, yeah, they should, but, like, there are teenagers that don't know good and well not to steal, man. People learn at different paces. So, you know, it's just up to everybody. Takes a village and whatnot. And in this case, the village was the other side of the family coming over to steal all the beer mugs. And you know what? Fine. Yeah, that was fuck it. That was our first one. That was our first one.
Some Editions 9752's post.
Some Editions 9752. We're going
They're
for
all,
not
like,
the asshole
randomized names.
I think we can agree to disagree and label him kinda the asshole. Like, I mean, the way he went about it was kind of asshole-ish, sure, even if it was light fun for the kids. Like, I see where you're coming from. Like, there are still factors in this that are unknowns and could have gone wrong, or did go, like, a certain way that just weren't mentioned, you know?
Yeah.
So, like, I can totally see that.
Like, I still think not the asshole is generally the answer, because I don't think we can give, like, a, kinda. I think
that's a one, not the asshole. You gotta be firm. you gotta be firm. I was firm. I was just making sure the show stance was like representative of your feelings as well, Jed. We're inclusive here.
It is. It is. I agree.
All right, but on to my second one. This one, Jed, is an absolute banger. I've read it. I think you may have read it before, actually. I think we may have talked about it, and I didn't realize that this morning when I was grabbing it. But I think we both have a lot to say about this post, because I think the only conversation we had about it, if you did see it, was, see that? Yeah, it was funny. Anyway, what the fuck? But, because this one made the rounds on socials a while back. The headline for this one, and I'll give us time to talk about it before we get into the actual read, is... Am I the asshole for pretending to think beans in chili are woke to prank my cousin who is obsessed with being anti-woke but loves chili?
Yeah, I came across this one. I have read this one before. We have talked about it. We might have even, like, mildly talked about it on the show just because it was, like, a weird cultural bubble. I don't think we did, but I'm not entirely sure. It wasn't a topic. It definitely was just like a fucking, like that beans guy.
I know for a fact it wasn't the topic. But we'll cover that now. We'll cover that now. Which, this is insane, by the way. This is an insane opener that I think makes complete sense.
Yeah.
Alright, so reading the post. We'll go paragraph by paragraph here. My cousin is known for making chili, and he's good at it. He makes his own chili flakes from his secret combination of various dried chilies. It adds a very nice kick. It's like a perfect amount of spice. It's hot, but not too hot. He also always adds kidney beans, not canned beans. Anyway, for the past 2 or 3 years, my cousin has become obsessed with all this bullshit about what is or isn't woke and how woke things are the end of the world. He's always been a good dude, so I don't know what his bag is, but he's completely obsessed, and it's annoying. So that's all of our setup. That's all of our preamble, pretty much, for this post.
Yeah.
And I think...
like, dickhead MAGA brother, yeah.
Like, dickhead MAGA brother, but, like, not only that, what... Dickhead MAGA brother with, like, a weird, like, a hobby about making chili? Like, he seems
this
like
man,
no normal person is making chili this way. Like, he likes to cook, at least. Like, this guy likes to cook, for sure.
Yeah.
In, like, nobody's making their own chili powder at home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, that's not happening.
You gotta give a fuck about the food. Yeah. So this is just a very impassioned individual to begin with, it seems. So, moving on. So the other weekend, I was at his place, and he was making his famous chili. So I got the idea for a little prank. I was like, I'm surprised you still put beans in your chili. And he goes, what? Why? And I go, beans and chili are woke. Everybody's saying so. And he goes, what do you mean? This reads like Seinfeld. And he was genuinely concerned, as if this is something serious. I said something like, yeah, beans and chili are woke. The original conservative Texans who made chili only used meat in chili. San Francisco liberals started adding the chili in the 60s because of how many hippies were vegetarian. Now all the woke scientists are saying the beans are a better protein source than meat. He didn't say anything to that. I kind of just assumed he'd know I was fucking with him and get the joke. We've always fucked around with each other and done jokes like this all the time, but he was quiet all dinner. Okay, that's crazy.
He's having like a midlife crisis about his fucking chili, dude.
What I'm picturing is like, up until this point, this guy's happy. He's doing like twirls in his kitchen. He's got like family around having a conversation.
He's got like a kiss the cook apron.
He's wearing like a kiss the cook apron. Biggest smile on his face. Just a picture of like a guy making dinner for his family, you know? And then... like, the woke chili is mentioned, and he does, like, the rack zoom Guardians 2 what thing. And from that point forward, he's just sitting there. Spoon or fork, I guess, if you're a fork chili guy, in hand, staring at the chili, barely touching it. Just sitting there and looking into the bowl of chili and just reckoning with himself. It's the way I picture this.
Like using the fork to like pick up individual beans and just like
kind of pushing them around this fucking plate and shit. Yeah. twirling a little bit of meat around and like almost getting it like on the spoon, but then just like intentionally like kind of it back in there, just playing with it, you know, just thinking.
Yeah.
But that was the description
man.
of the evening, and it's like that's already kind of unhinged if he was just like quiet the whole time. I assume he was just quieter, but like either way, he was quiet all dinner. But yesterday I was back again, and I was at his place, and he was making chili, and there were no beans. It was a totally different chili. This guy's been making his chili with beans for like 15 years, and I was like, "What's up? Where's the beans?" And he was like, "I don't fuck with that woke shit." And I was like, "What?" And he goes, "Beans are woke. Even you know that." Everyone else was like, "What? Because what?" I was like, "Dude, I was just fucking with you." And he got really angry. He dumped his chili in the sink and told everyone to go home. I thought he was pranking me back or something, but he was serious. The dude totally lost it.
Holy shit, man.
Holy hell.
My God.
That's not it either. We're not done here. That's not the end of the post. But just this guy going fucking ballistic. Now I'm picturing him going ballistic in his kitchen while this, like, the happy family from before watches in silence, just stunned and confused as he raves about woke chili. It's like, it's a disheveled, dirty apron from cooking. It's got, like, grease on it. It's like a post-cook apron. And he's just, it's like half untied in the back, and he's just screaming and throwing his hands around and like spilling plates of chili into the sink nonstop. And people are like looking at him like, what the fuck is wrong with our relative, the poor guy? You know? That's the mental image that conjures, and I think it's very funny.
It's so goddamn funny.
We went back,
but
oh, here we go, we're not done yet. He texted me later and said this exact thing. Quote, "I researched this online, and it turns out you really were lying to me. Beans are not woke. How could you do this?" We went back and forth for a bit.
How could you do this?
His position was, even though we have historically pranked each other, I went too far, and that I betrayed him, and I, quote, made him question his chili. I tried to ask him if this at all made him think that he cared too much about woke. And he was like, "What if beans and chili was woke? So what?" I was like, "What if beans and chili was woke? So what?" He ignored that and demanded I apologize. Did I take this too far? What do you think, Jim?
No, actually, I would have taken it further.
Place to take it?
I would have like gifted him a can of beans. Like, yeah.
You would have been sending this guy beans at every like occasion, wrapped, dude. Oh man.
Genuinely, I think this would be like a perma joke. Like, I think this would be a like give you a can of beans in your Christmas present.
Like, it's a shameful thing to say, but I think we all know what it's like to go too far with a joke. At least once or twice. I've seen my own jokes go so bad that, like, my own, like, gags on people when I was a kid go so bad on, like, short-tempered enough people that, like, it's really funny until they're screaming at you for real. And then it's like, oh, fuck, you're really mad? Oh, god damn it, we're not kidding around here. You know? And then it's, like, not funny at all. Like, immediately. But no, what a fucking classic post this is. What a just an all-timer. And it's from like this year. It's from like this year, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I know. It was
2 months ago,
like
yeah. Started the year.
Days old?
Cracked open.
Yeah.
We cracked open 2025 with woke chili. Woke beans. In fact.
Woke beans, dude.
Yeah, woke beans opened up the year.
This is genuinely like I don't want to say it's like a influential post, but it is to some degree. Like, I've heard woke beans around as like
the greatest piece
phrase.
of art I've ever seen. Woke
This
beans
am I the asshole pose
is the finest, most historically important artifact that we have.
But by God, woke beans, I think we can all fairly comfortably say he's not the asshole. This is a fairly harmless prank, and the guy should have been able to take a joke. Whether or not, even if chili was his most important thing. What's up?
You know what I think? I think he is the asshole. I think he's a dickhead.
You think so?
I think
Yeah?
he's
Why?
a huge fucking dickhead. No, I don't. I'm fucking with you. I just wanted to be
waiting on you to like
contrarian.
elaborate.
Well, I said the last guy was like a thumbs up. I don't want to thumbs up all of these, man, but this one's a pretty slam dunk, not the asshole. So it's like a hard one to gauge for.
Comfortably. Like, I don't think any of the other posts should really affect our like asshole or not. It should be the story directly.
Well, if he okay, so how could we make this guy the asshole? I feel like is the discussion here. I feel like if he knew it would go this bad, that would make him the asshole. Like I think if he knew he would be ruining Chili Night for the week for everybody by doing this bit, I don't think he would have done it. But
no,
like I feel like that's the only circumstance where this guy is the dickhead for doing this because like. I don't know. That seems like the only way you could make me mad at this motherfucker. Other than, like, maybe he poisons the chili. But, like, that's the only thing, like, within reason I can think of that would even affect how I view the situation. And even then, it's like, yeah, he's only kind of an asshole for getting a rise out of somebody who, like, you know, like, he was just trying to teach a lesson to, you know, just trying to help out. I mean, he was fucking around with him, let's be fair here.
He
but,
was,
like,
but if they've pranked each other in the past, this is, like... bog standard, fairly.
This is pretty normal. Like, I'm just gonna lie to you and laugh about it until you catch on. That's like a pretty base level bit, yeah.
Yeah, and like the guy apparently, from what I understand, did not like. Why the fuck would you fly off the handle about it? First of all, because it's like, dude, yeah, you made one round of chili without beans in it one time. Because your friend played a prank on you, you know.
He preyed upon you.
Yeah, he preyed upon you.
Groomed into thinking,
but it was a whole different
bad.
Chili. It's okay to make a different chili once in a while, brother. That is okay.
This guy is serious about this chili. That's what he does, man.
I know.
That's his thing. What if one day you went to, like, I don't know, it's something you're passionate about. What if you went to, like, clean your revolver one day and somebody just handed you a different gun and went, no, you're cleaning this one instead. This is much less interesting to clean to you, gun. Have fun.
I would be relatively indifferent about it. I don't think I could ever get mad enough to, like, fucking throw a pot of chili out and tell everybody to fucking leave.
No, me
over
neither. Over
something like that. Like,
me neither. But like, I do see where his frustration is. I guess. In that, like damn it, this chili night is ruined now. You know, and it didn't have to be. You know, but like in his mind, that shit was already gone, man. That's the thing. Nobody's flying off the handle if they think it's salvageable. You know.
I guess that's bizarre to me because I always like every situation is salvageable, so it's like, why would you fly off the handle about like anything really?
Yeah, no, there are times where flying off the handle is appropriate because it's like this will either work or it won't, and either way I won't have to deal with this shit anymore, and that's like if I'm flying off the handle, that's really all I want as far as a solution goes. You know?
Yeah. But I think fairly comfortably, Woke Beans guy, not the asshole.
Yeah, I think Woke Beans guy's not the asshole very comfortably, like you said. Yeah, so I think we're two not the assholes deep into this episode. Let's see if we can change that on our third one, Jed. Pick your meanest guy. Pick your meanest fuck.
You really want me to pick the worst one? I have one of these.
We'll slap the worst one. Just the biggest fucking, like, the biggest pile of shit on Reddit, dude. Bring it to me. Let's see what happens here.
Am I the asshole because I didn't want my husband to call the cops after being assaulted?
After the husband was assaulted?
The husband was assaulted, and she said, don't call the cops. I'll read it out.
Okay.
My husband, 24 male. My son, 1.5 months, or 1.5 male, sorry. And I, 23 female, were invited to a Halloween party by my new co-worker. We were told that there would be people and drinking, but nothing crazy, as multiple other children would be there. We show up and notice one man acting like he'd had quite a bit more than he could handle. But from my perspective, his intentions were friendly. He would try to make jokes to my husband, and he offered my son some Halloween candy. Apparently, there had been a comment my husband didn't hear, but assumes it was disrespectful because another guest says, "Guess we're just letting that go," talking about the very drunk man. My husband comes inside and sits on the couch and lets me know this guy had said something and that he wanted to stay away from him. I agreed, and we started playing with my son together. Several minutes go by, And the drunk guy comes up again after hearing that I'm expecting another baby, and he said something along the lines of, "Wow, didn't know you were man enough to have 2 kids. Congrats." My husband thought this was a dig at him, and told me we needed to leave because he wouldn't argue or fight in front of our kids. On our way out, a completely different, also drunk guy, one we hadn't spoken to all night, hears my husband talking to the first drunk guy, and mistakenly thinks my husband is insulting him. He throws a punch and hits my husband, and they proceed to start fighting on the ground. The other men pulled apart the fight, and we were told to leave. Upon my husband saying he wanted to call the police, I immediately shot down the idea. I tried to explain that it would probably only cause issues for the party host, my friend and coworker, as the guy who hit my husband was also sent home, and we didn't know his name. The whole situation seemed more like he said, she said nightmare, where nothing could happen to the drunk guy, but my coworker could have the police at her house. We argued about this, but he didn't call the police because he's afraid of upsetting me. I apologized and told him if he felt he needed to, then I would support him in that, but he's still very upset about all of it. He's mostly upset about me being against calling the police. The man who hit my husband as well as the first guy have apologized along with my coworker, but he won't hear any of it. So am I the asshole? Yeah. I think
Yeah, man. Probably.
Yeah.
Maybe not.
Like you hit this. You really?
I feel like if you get hit, because we're talking about the wife here, right? The wife going like, no,
wife...
don't call the cops. Like you got hit. Yeah. Don't call the cops. It's fine. It'll be okay.
Yeah, they got in a fight. Yeah.
I think the issue is because her husband. What I comprehended was that you were reading very fast and didn't give me any pauses for like any amount of breakdown. There were like 3 openings in there, man. You got to get good at this. You're fucking 50 episodes in, damn near it. Grow up. I know. Fucking, what was I saying? I forget what I was saying. Oh, I was saying that I'm 50 episodes into this. Maybe I need to fucking grow up. Jesus. But what I was saying was like, so her husband assumed the drunk guy said something the first time, right?
Yes.
And then
yes.
Like, he's working completely on, like, just the vague assumption of an insult. Not even an insult. Which is, like, Macho Man #1. And it's like, what the fuck are you doing, dude? Quit it. What are we operating on here? Suspicion of the thought?
I just would like to not be around this guy.
Yeah, no, his solution to that was that. And that's a good answer to that. That's fine. And I don't want to fight in front of my kids is valid too. I mean, you want to teach them that violence isn't the answer and whatnot. But I think it would be good for a child to see their dad kick some ass every now and again. You know? Like, I think I don't want to fight in front of my kids, like, ever, hardline is for guys who know they're going to lose the fight in front of their kids. Like...
Yeah.
I feel like if I could fight and I had kids, that I would be willing to fight in front of my kids had it come to it. That's not a I would love to have the principle that I will never fight in front of my kids, but frankly, I come from white trash. I'm gonna fight in front of my kids at some point. It's in my blood, man.
Yeah, but like this story is so fucking bizarre because then it's a different drunk guy.
Yeah, no, let me fucking finish here. There's fucking. Because I'm not sure I have this right. I want to clarify with you that I got this shit before we start talking about it. Because he makes that assumption that the guy insulted his wife. And then he's like, okay, let's me, my wife, and my kid just come over here to the other spot at the party. And we'll sit and hang out. First of all, they've got a random, really plastered guy just hanging out at this party. I assume he's like somebody brought him, of course. 2 guys who are really plastered, but everybody else is not really drinking. You know? I feel like if there's alcohol at the venue and somebody is intoxicated, you're the asshole for complaining about it. I feel like if you host a party where there's alcohol and you're being weird because somebody got too drunk at your party where there's alcohol, because there is a line of too drunk, but if somebody's just noticeably drunk and that's your point out, frankly, if you're going to a social event that allows drinking. If you're hosting a social event that allows drinking and don't expect people to get drunk at it, you're fucking stupid. I think people who drink alcohol for the taste are like dumb. dude. Like, people who, like,
But
not
this
the
is,
taste, the aesthetic. Some people like the taste of alcohol. I don't, so it's hard for me to imagine somebody who does. But people who, you know what I mean, the kind of guy who has 1 or 2 beers to relax when he gets home, but has more tolerance than 1 or 2 beers, but that's just kind of his routine now. And it's like, no, I'm not going to go to a party and performatively hold a martini glass the whole time. If you want me to drink at your thing, I'll drink at your thing. If you don't be weird about it. So the party, like, being guests at a thing with alcohol, if you didn't know there was going to be alcohol and you brought your fucking kid, I guess, yeah. And it sounds like this is like a casual, like, adult friends getting together to hang out. Oh, it's a business party, right, yeah. So, like, you don't want to get terribly drunk. But especially, oh, man. Especially.
That was interesting.
that was really, did you see that too? When did that start happening?
I did. It flashed for a second, I think. Okay, it was
good,
like the
because it was
veto
just kind of up
thing.
there for a second, and then I pulled it away. Like, I noticed it and pulled it away. I didn't see it come up. Okay, good. But what I was saying was that, like, I don't know that she is the asshole. Frankly, he wouldn't be the asshole if he didn't want to call the cops. If the guy who got hit didn't want to call the cops, that's one thing. And because it's a work thing, I guess, it's less friends, more work, and so I guess I could see that. Because if I were at, like, a friend's house party, I think I could sympathize more with, I don't want to get this guy in trouble. It happened on his property, and it was just one punch. It doesn't really matter. Like, this will heal in a week. Why? Like, that's my thing about it, is unless somebody, like, beats the dog shit out of me, like, if it'll be healed in 2 days, I'm not filing a police report. There's 0 chance of me doing that. I can't be asked to do it. The police proceedings will take longer than the actual wound will take to heal by a mile, and I just don't want to deal with it. But, like, that's the thing. And it's like, I kind of agree with her in that, like, I think it's a bit fucking dramatic to, like, get in a fucking fight with like, regardless of the fact, you're the sober one, and you got into a fight with a drunk guy outside at a fucking work venue.
Well, no.
Dude.
How this is framed is that somebody, like, thought he was saying something bad about him and threw the first punch immediately without conflict resolution. So, like, somebody comes up to you without your knowledge and is pissed at you and punches you. I guess I'd
take the kid away and you hit him back. If you don't want to fight in front of the kid, tell your wife to take him away or cover his eyes, dude. And
he did. He did.
I'm just saying, if you lay me on the ground like that for saying something to you that I thought was innocuous, you are not leaving without a hit. There will at least be an attempt. I don't care if you're the Hulk, dude. I'm at least trying. I can't live with myself and not, not swing back for something like that. It's just an obligation, Because if you don't swing back
on the ground and had to be,
maybe you're the better person.
So they did fight.
Yeah, they did fight. It did break out. But, like, again, it's, you've gotten into a scrap with a guy outside of a work venue, regardless of how that happened, really. You're in the fight now. You are fighting, and I guess you're defending yourself. But, like, I don't know. It rides a line for me of just, like, yeah, the violence is acceptable. I think some people should be allowed to kick each other's ass every now and again without getting the law involved, is all. Like, that's the most, like, that's the most white trash belief I have, is that if some motherfucker is saying something that you don't like to the point where you feel like you need to fucking hit him for it, and you feel like he genuinely deserves it, and you feel like you have a good head on your shoulders to say that, if you don't hit him, I lose respect for you. That's not all of it, but at least a little bit. Like, come on. If you feel like you're in the right to hit him, and you feel like it wouldn't, like, kill him to hit him, you kind of have to do it. In my opinion. Like, that's the path that must be taken. There's more to this? Go ahead.
There was an afterthought, because this is why I chose this post. This post has an apology. I realize now how horrible my words and actions were. I agree with everyone and can see now how I've let my husband down. I've apologized to him and will never act this way again. Number 2, this is a bulleted list. My husband is a wonderful man and has accepted my apology. I'm sorry to everybody who wanted him to divorce me. Number 3,
another thing.
The coworker is not my sexual preference and I'm not having an affair with her.
Jesus. Is that it? Is that the apology?
No, there's more. No,
Jesus,
there's
can we
more.
take a stop? Can we please, Jed.
Yeah, let's.
Jesus Christ, you
take a
keep
moment.
throwing 10 paragraphs at a time at me here, man, and I have so much. There's so much to unpack in these 3 bullet points, but it wouldn't be
know.
worth doing anything from bullet point 1 if we're 10 paragraphs away from it by the time I can say anything.
Yeah.
What are we?
We're halfway through them.
Run these bullet points one by one. What was the first one?
I realized how horrible my actions were, and I agree with everybody, and I let my husband down, was number 1. Number 2 was my husband is a wonderful man and has accepted my apology. I'm sorry to everybody who wanted him to divorce me. And then number 3 is my coworker and I are not having an affair.
Yeah. Those second 2, the second and the last one, are both such, like, am I the asshole or, like, r/relationship advice answers. Like, I swear, some people just go to every comment section and type the word divorce, period, and then just hit enter and call it a day. Like, after they've hit every post that was made that day on this sub. Because I feel like this subreddit is just full of that kind of shit. It's just people who are like, this is unresolvable.
Yeah, they love that.
You cannot talk with them about... And frankly, the kind of guy who goes to a subreddit to complain when he has, like, relationship problems is probably the kind of guy who should just get a fucking divorce, honestly.
Yeah.
Like, you'll save at least the person you're with a lot of headaches by doing that. Get the fuck out of there if it's that big of an issue to you. I've seen people make, like, am I the asshole in relationship advice posts about, like, how their partner doesn't talk about anything with them. Like, they don't ever talk about their issues with them, and they don't know how to broach it. Or, like, they don't want to broach that. And it's like, dude, you're doing it right now. You've just made a fucking post about the exact thing that you're doing right now, you know? But anyway, those 3 bullet points are fucking insane. The affair clarification is just as likely as the divorce thing, by the way. They're always like, there's always like the conspiracy theorists too. It's wild over there. But anyway.
I was just taken off guard by number 3. All right, number 4. I feel the need to let people know that I was entirely that it was my entirely jaded perception of police that made me react this way. I did not realize that most people think police do their jobs. While I shouldn't have been concerned for my work life in this moment, I believed that to be the only consequence. I'm
just now, like, getting why she's the asshole. I thought she was genuinely doing the, like, don't call the cops, it would be too much of a hassle. I'm just now realizing how much emphasis was on don't call the cops because you got beat the fuck up. I don't want to get in trouble at work, you know? Like, just being really sad
that's what
about
it is.
it.
Or
I don't want to get in trouble at work, you know? And so it's like, fuck you, dude.
It's mostly about not wanting to be, like, upsetting
drunk guy damn near beat my face in, and you're worried about, like, your coworker not liking you anymore? I'd eat shit, you know?
Yeah, exactly. And then I've got number 5. I love my husband, and I do my best to be better every day. I've let him down, and will be better moving forward. All right. You said this in, like, 1 and 2?
This is something I've been meaning to talk about for a while, and this is a really good example of it, number 5 here. Number 5 is a really good example of this. Some people just hear things and regurgitate them. Some people are genuinely like ChatGPT when they have to write something like this. When they have to write an apology, it's, I sincerely apologize. I have let victim down and made victim feel very bad and can't acknowledge. And it's like, did you make your, like, child write this? Or, like, did you actually write it?
Yeah.
This, like, some people's, like, ability to do, like, written small talk like that, like little flavor text things like that are just, like, an extra thing that we have to do occasionally, like, as people. Like, some people just never evolve that skill beyond, like, a 2nd grade level, and it's so funny to me.
Yeah. They're used to, like
that look
hands
like
in the lap,
invites.
head down in front of the teacher. I'm sorry.
It's such, like, a horse shit. Like, I'm sure they mean it, but it's, like, it's such, like, a generic put on for that, and I don't dig it. I don't dig it one bit. And that's the bottom line.
Number 6.
Number 6? What's number 6?
I have shared this thread with my husband. He has read the comments with me.
Oh, man.
I think that's always the funniest, when it's like, yeah, I did show him that I posted this on Reddit, and he got even more mad at me, because then he was like, wait, what the fuck? You went to fucking Reddit about this? I think that's always so funny. because like it's like a delusional thing to like be in a confrontation and go to Reddit and like spill everything about you and this other person's personal life relating to the story. Like, it's wild. And then she has a conclusion that says, "Thank you all for helping me gain an understanding, even if it was understanding I was wrong." So yeah, I think she's the asshole. I think that one's comfortable for me, at least. Especially because, like, from what I understand, like you had said, it seems like she was more worried about the like repercussions at work or socially over like it's not worth getting the police involved.
Yeah, because that was my angle, and I was like, I don't see how that's like an asshole-ish angle to have on it, but I totally see like, don't call the cops about the assault you just went through because it might affect me, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to downplay it. This guy did get like hit in the fucking face for no reason out of nowhere, which can be a very like shocking thing to have happen to you. Like, I don't know if you've ever just like had somebody do violence to you out of like for seemingly nothing out of nowhere, but it's no good. It's fucked.
It's bad for your, like psychology even.
Yeah, no, it's like the worst thing you can do to a human being. Damn near it mentally is just like hurt them for damn near nothing.
Yeah.
But anyway, I don't know. I feel like, yeah, she's the asshole because, like, she admitted to being the asshole in the end. So I feel like I don't really have a place to say much about it. But even in my own opinion, she is in this post.
Yeah, I agree. I agree for sure. You got anything else that isn't, like, my husband got assaulted?
I have my husband got a vacuum. You want that one?
Yeah, I'll take a vacuum. Fuck it. Sure, give me the vacuum.
Yeah, all right. Here's the vacuum. Okay, so, my husband got me a vacuum for my 50th is the title of this one. No AITA, no posed as a question.
Okay.
A statement of fact.
All right.
My husband got me a vacuum for my 50th. This woman is mad. Okay, so.
Yeah.
And I was like, I saw that, and I was like, oh man, I can't wait for this, like, older, like, to hear this, like, older woman rip into this fucking, like, man she's going with about this shit. And then it just kind of got sad. You'll see. Title says it all. Turned 50 yesterday. Husband, 53M, woke me up, told me he had a surprise for me downstairs. I go downstairs and see a vacuum. Not even wrapped, mind you. And he said, He said he thought I'd like a new one, since the current one doesn't have the ability to turn off the brush roller when using on hardwood floors. I never asked for a new one. It works fine. So this is already a start.
Alright.
This woman is mad. Because people do this. I've seen it happen where, like, but it's just like, I don't know what to get the older women in my life. That's why I, as a man, buy, like, here, now you can cook and clean better gifts. Because it's like, it's all I see them do, man. I'm not around when they're doing, like, their hobbies or whatever.
Like, hell, nonetheless, I get gifts like that. I got an air fryer for Christmas, and I was hype about it, dude. Like,
yeah. I don't know. I'm just a very practical gifter is all. So I feel like I would do the same thing.
Yeah.
I wouldn't do the same thing, but because I know that it's like an assholey thing to do. But like if I didn't know that, I totally would be.
Yeah.
Continuing. That was my birthday. Not even lunch or a dinner out. He mentioned about a month ago that he was going to be doing something special, like going on a trip. And I asked him about that, and he said he figured I would tell him where I wanted to go when I knew. He never asked where, but did mention several times over the past month he's had a surprise for me. It was a fucking vacuum. We've been married 17 years. So this guy, presumably, okay, so there's the angle that you're on where, like, he was hyping this vacuum for months. He's hyping up this vacuum for months as a gift. And she's just not liking it at all. And he thought she would. And that's a damn shame. But, like, there's this other angle where, like, this is a guy who doesn't really, like, make decisions for his wife, it seems. And so it's he's not like the sole decision maker, and so like it's like joint decisions as it should be. And thus, like if I were with my husband and we were discussing the idea of going on a trip for his birthday, that would be my opener to the conversation of where would you want to go. Other than missing that particular step, this guy's not really the asshole here. Other than like maybe clarify a second time that like, yes, I was serious about the trip. We have the money. Where do you want to go, man? We can go.
Was
we
that
just
the
need to know
whole
where
story?
and have planning time. That's not the whole thing. We're not done yet.
Okay.
I just figured.
I thought she got mad and just typed that out and like left it on "Am I the asshole?" Like no "Am I the asshole?" ending or anything. She just got mad and like typed out like half a paragraph.
Nah. But here's what you get. Here's what you get. By the way, the spaces that I give you aren't chosen by me. I'm using those based on like how big are the paragraph, like how big are the line breaks. Where is each line break?
That's how I typically do it.
Am I the asshole for hoping or expecting, here you go, that maybe he could have planned or surprised me with something? Anything. Something more than an Amazon next day delivery vacuum. When he turned 50, I took him to Hawaii. Maybe I'm just being hypersensitive. Turning 50 is a hard number for me. Parents and grandparents all passed in that decade. So, like, turning 50 is an emotional thing for this woman. That is all of the original post. That's all of the, like, initial post.
Okay. Well, I don't think he's the asshole. I think that he's kind of the asshole for, like... He probably should have brought up, like, hey, what do you want to do for your 50th birthday? Like, what can we do? And it's just, if you guys haven't talked about it at all, what the fuck is he supposed to do? I don't know. If he saw that, like, the vacuum was not as good as it could be, sure, fuck it. Get the vacuum. I like vacuums. You know? Like, I don't think that's too hard to say that it's his fault, but you said that there was more.
Well, nothing more that would really change your opinion on it.
Okay.
There's the typical edit, like, thank you thing, but I wanna read you in that edit, because it's all just the usual, thank you for the Reddit gold, kind strangers, thank you for the like comments. And then in that is, it begins with, thank you to the numerous people who reported my post to the Reddit crisis cares. Not necessary. Reddit crisis cares, period, capital N, not necessary, period, as its own sentence. And to the mean trolls saying to get a life, or that no one cares, and to not be a gold digger, or that it's the thought that counts, I wish you nothing but success and prosperity in life. Peace. That's what edit 1 reads in full. I just read it to you in full because it was like unhinged, dude. Oh man. And then edit 2? Edit 2 is edit 2, : it's a Eureka power speed canister vacuum, period. Just very bluntly put. That's the whole second edit, and it's just the cherry on top.
How much is that vacuum?
Because, I don't know. I assume it's like a type. I assume it's not a specific model. But look it up. Look into it while I explain this to you. That, like, I was reading this. I need to tell you about how I read this. I saw the headline on it. And like I said, I was like, man, as far as a subject line, this is looking like it could be a juicy one. Let me take a gander. And I read it, and as I'm reading it, I realize, like, man, the actual body of this post is just really sad. It's just an old couple having a mundane tiff about something, you know, and they're just not in the I'm talking about it with you phase yet. So it's going on Reddit. That's clearly what fucking happened here. And then I saw edit 2. Like, I didn't even look at edit 1. I don't even think I knew edit 1 existed when I saw this the first time. I think I just might have skipped it because I was looking at it on my phone. Because edit 2, though, describing the vacuum, just painted such a clear visage of, like, getting way too many goddamn comments about the vacuum. Funny. It's just a cherry on top of the thing. It's just a cherry on top of the thing. How much does it cost, at least? What's the price on this gift?
$80.
$80? 50th birthday,
$10 more than the game on Steam.
Jesus
I know.
Christ.
I'm actually kind of agreeing with her to some degree. This, like, because there are vacuums that are like, this is a $250 vacuum.
Yeah, I was expecting like a high-end vacuum, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like,
no.
Give me a nice vacuum, man. Come on. What the fuck are we doing?
I don't know.
Here?
I've given gifts that are like more, I guess, costly than that, and I'm not even fucking 20 yet, dude. If you're working a job, There's no reason that you shouldn't be getting the vacuum, especially if she's giving you trips to Hawaii. Honestly.
Yeah, dude.
I don't know.
Your girl is getting you trips to Hawaii, and you're buying her a fucking $80 vacuum 2 days ahead with Amazon one-day delivery.
I'm mad for her.
The Amazon one-day delivery.
Yeah.
I like that what shifted our view from this is kind of just mild to like, man, this actually no. You know what? No, was figuring out like that it's definitely a shitty vacuum for like dead certain.
Yeah.
That it's just like an anything,
Yeah,
like you could pick it up at your local Walmart right now if you really wanted to vacuum. Like, or at least one comparable.
If I put vacuum, holy shit! If you put vacuum into the Amazon search, it's the first one.
Is it like the Amazon choice vacuum?
It is like, yeah, it's
like the Amazon Basics fucking.
It's not. It's Eureka branded, which is
no, it's Eureka.
I've never heard of that.
Me neither. Not at all.
I've heard of
I assumed
Shark
it was like
and Dyson.
my assumption and Hoover and what's that other British one? They got another one. I don't know. Dyson's British too. But why are they making vacuums all in Europe? Why don't Americans make a vacuum?
We don't
Whatever.
like to be clean.
Yeah, we don't like to be clean. That's the problem. We're dirty people.
Dirty bitches.
Dirty bitches, I tell you. But like, just I was imagining because I hadn't heard of Eureka. I was imagining like this must be some like really high end brand because the rest of this post is about like going to Hawaii and taking like an impromptu like only 2 months of planning and saving trip without knowing where you're going. Like, you gotta have some serious, like, cash to throw around for that. So I assume they were buying a nice vacuum, at least. But
no, it looks like shit, too. Like,
give me an image. I'll throw the vacuum
Yeah, I'm giving you an
screen.
image here.
As long as it's not a green
this
vacuum.
Shit is... it's a yellow vacuum. It's a black
fine.
and yellow.
Oh,
It
this is
looks
like
like
orange
ass.
yellow, too. Oh, man.
Yeah.
This just looks like a vacuum. Like, this looks like a vacuum that, like, if I were, like, a college student in his first apartment, yeah, I'd buy that vacuum.
Yeah, sure. Fuck it. I'll grab
why
that
not?
vacuum.
I'll get that one. Why not? But otherwise, I don't see myself picking up a vacuum like this.
Like, imagine you're getting this
it.
gift hyped up to you, and you come downstairs to this, like, entirely
like an empty
cheap
living
plastic
room
vacuum.
and just this. Like couches,
and you go onto
and no
Amazon.
coffee table. This. And you go on Amazon and there it is.
You type in vacuum, and it's there. Like,
that is such that makes that edit so much better to know that it clarifies that he went on Amazon and picked the first one and was like, yeah, I have a surprise for your birthday. I have a surprise coming. Ooh. And he like it took 2 seconds. I think he didn't have a surprise. I think he was waiting on her to indicate something she wanted and it just never came and he panicked the night before. I think that's what happened to this man, this poor bastard. But she is not the asshole.
That's possible.
Thank God it's not about if that guy's the asshole, it's about her. I don't think she's an asshole. Like, even if he were in the right, even if he were, like, completely in the clear on this, she still isn't the asshole for being mad a little bit, like, a little bit annoyed and disappointed.
Yeah.
It's not at all.
Like, I would be a little bit annoyed and disappointed. Hell, I would have been a little disappointed if, like, my friend gifted me, like, an $80 vacuum, because it's like, dude... If you already have a vacuum and it's fine, if you gift me an $80 vacuum that's shittier than my current vacuum, I'm not gonna fucking use it. That shit's going to Goodwill, dude. I don't need a shittier vacuum. You haven't upgraded me. I'm just like chilling, dead center, and it's the worst gift. It's the worst gift of all time. I think we talked about that.
Vacuum. You've given me like a secondary
yeah.
one, dude.
I'm thinking about that. I think we talked about it around the Christmas episode. About getting gifts and, like, getting gifts that you don't need are the worst gifts.
Yeah.
And especially for, like, my 50th birthday, man.
Like, and if it were 48, I feel like it has less punch to it. But 50, the big 50, and you're breaking out an $80 vacuum, there's no thought behind that gift at all. The thought does not count for whatever commenters she might have been responding to. That is not a thought that counts moment. That is that my husband couldn't bear to get me anything beforehand and just, like, panic bought a vacuum and hoped that it would be good enough.
Yeah. I don't.
Which I'm sold on what happened there. I'm almost, not the asshole. I think that's a good marker for that one. We're 3 not the assholes deep, right? Oh, no, we called that one lady an asshole. for like
Yeah.
her work friend or whatever. Let's go.
Yeah, for
Okay,
her
what
work
else you
friend.
got?
We're 4 deep. We've got
What else you got?
three non-assholes and 1 asshole.
You got any
Let's
stories
get
related to household appliances, Jed?
household appliances.
You know, like a vacuum, perchance.
There's heat bill, air conditioners.
That
That's
works.
kind of related.
Hit me. Let's see it.
Am I the asshole for refusing to turn on the heat in my apartment, which is increasing my neighbor's heat bill? I live in an apartment. My apartment complex does not have anything in our lease about us being required to use heat or air conditioning. I love the winter and being cold. Last night, it was about 21 degrees, and I had my windows open and my fans going. I slept great. I didn't run my heat in the winter. I run it about once a month just to keep everything working. And from here, I like to have the windows open. A lot of the comments were saying, like, this is fake because who the fuck is sleeping in 21 degree, like, I've done that. I've done that multiple times. I like it.
No.
Feels like I'm
sleeping in
in the
like
snow.
intense cold is very good. I like to get like a big like comforter, one of those that like you can hear it crinkle every 2 goddamn seconds. I like to get one of those big white fluffy motherfuckers that you only find in like hotel rooms and like lay down and like sleep in like maybe not 22 or like 30 or whatever you said, but like 40 or 50. 40 or 50 degree weather, I think, is about the sweet spot. 40 or 50 degrees in the room is just like a good spot for like, this is a really nice cold sleep, you know? No, like average, I like 71. Used to be a 63 guy, but these days I like my living quarters to be 71 degrees, just about.
I'm a like a 60 flat guy. But
60 flat is good too. I might migrate back down to 63 once we have, after the move, we'll have like central heating and cooling, and so it'll be a lot easier to maintain 63. Like 60 is just like an unattainable number in the summer, so like 63 is also...
especially with like 1 window heater for the size of your space. I'm not surprised.
Well, even
like,
if we had central heating and cooling, like even the main building gets a little fucky during like the hottest part of the day in summer, you know. It's just a thing. Air conditioning falters at a certain point. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like 60 in the winter and 70 in the summer. Like that's about like what happens. But
yeah, I'd say 70 is about
apparently.
like 75 is like tepid room temperature, like just uncomfortably warm.
Yeah, that's a little too warm for me. That's how my room mostly is, because my mom keeps it at like 78. But apparently, one of my neighbors noticed that I keep my windows open pretty much all the time. And they did the math on that. I live on the 2nd floor of my building. My next door neighbor came over to complain this morning. He said that because we have shared air vents, my not running the heat is completely sapping the heat from their apartment, and their electricity bill is nearly $200 higher in the last month. He pretty much demanded that I run my heat to a, quote, normal temperature. Do you have anything to say about that? I got kind of mad about it.
I do. This is in Fahrenheit, not Celsius, right?
Yes.
Okay. First point of contention. You are the asshole. Plain and simple. That's spoken for. That is a solid truth. If you share a building with somebody, if what the neighbor says is true, you were the asshole. Like, because if I were on the bottom floor of a building and I got my electric bill back and I went, man, this is like way, way over. And like, you know, the heating in my house hasn't even been running properly. Like, I've been way overrunning it. Like, yeah, but like I've been way overrunning it because it's not fucking running, dude. And like, you know, it doesn't seem like it's on the fritz. It just seems like it's not running as hard lately. I don't know what the deal is. And then I go to take a walk real quick in the cold and go to my car and like hear, oh, I can hear a heating vent. It's the upstairs neighbor's heating vent. Why can I hear that? His fucking window's open? He's just blasting the heater out the window into the fucking cold? No wonder I'm not getting anything. You know?
Yeah.
Like, I would be mad about that too. That's absolutely something to get wildly upset about. In fact, I think it's the same like as the could you turn the music down? It's 2:00 in the morning on a weeknight. You know, I think that's the same kind of cadence. You just do a door knock in the morning and go, hey, buddy. Just your neighbor downstairs here to let you know that the heating is shared. And I would like it if you could maybe help me offset some of this and or whatever. Like he could have been a little like more cordial and neighborly about it, but like having them demand the bill seems outrageous. Demanding that they pay the bill seems outrageous. If I can get that sentence out, Jesus. But in my eyes, fuck that. Yeah, no. If you're the reason my heating bill's $200 up, you're giving me $200.
But there is more. In the winter, my electric bill is a whopping $80 a month. It's kind of a win-win for me because I like the cold and I also get to save on money. If I turned my heat on to around 65 degrees, that would probably cost me an extra $150 a month. I told me neighbor, if he's willing to pay that up front, then I'm willing to run my heat on that temperature for his sake. He called me crazy and said that he shouldn't have to pay anything for me to act like a normal person. I said, why would I be less comfortable in my apartment and spend a decent chunk of cash every month just to make him happy when I don't even like him? I told him I'd buy a sweater. I told him to buy a sweater if it's so cold. He complained to my apartment complex and they came over to talk to me. And I explained that I periodically run the heater to keep it working, and they said, okay. And told the neighbor that they're staying out of it since there's nothing that the lease can say
Okay.
to make me run the heat in the winter.
Okay.
All my friends are super split on this. Am I the asshole?
Yes. Period. The friends that aren't saying that
Yeah.
you're the asshole, the guys that aren't saying you're the asshole are the guys who either are also assholes or just don't want to be the guy to tell you. You are the worst. You are the worst human being on the planet.
Yeah.
If you're, like, not even because it's your fault. If it weren't your fault. If you came to me, Jed, and were like, yeah, our heating's been on the fritz, and I went, buy a sweater if you think it's cold, I think you would have, if you punched me in the nose for that, square off like that guy from 2 stories ago or whatever, I would take it.
Yeah.
I would take, that's the most, like, evil rich guy in a skiing movie thing to say in the fucking world.
Yeah.
What do you mean buy a sweater? Are you gonna give me like a snide laugh about it afterward? Because Jesus, that's
no.
like Jesus, that's ridiculous. It's ridiculous, is what it is.
I read that wrong. He said, I'd buy you a he told him that he'd buy him a sweater. It was just written
if you're
very
cold, I'll
densely.
buy you a sweater. But that's also like that's still
That's
like, well, if you're
still
cold,
kind of
I'll
a-
fucking
that's
buy you
still
a
a dickhead,
sweater.
yeah.
It's like, dude, I'd prefer the
Yeah.
$30 that you'd spend on the sweater to offset this goddamn bill a little bit. You know?
Yeah, I don't know. Honestly, I'm the type of person. A lot of people in the comments say this is fake, which is fine.
It probably
I
is because
like
the
to
heating
keep my
system
house really
described here
cool.
makes no goddamn sense to me.
It is
really.
horseshit. That's the only thing. I like to keep my house cold. I would be fucking pissed off for the neighbor if that were the case, because it's like, I want to have my own space with my own temperatures, and I would like to keep it that way, and that's how the apartment should work. Why the fuck is your central heating shared between 2 different residents? That's horseshit. That's bullshit. Why are you doing that? Like, this should be a problem for the apartment complex and not necessarily between them. But he is the asshole for just, like, being an unreasonable bastard and being like, well, if you pay the extra $150, then I'll be fine about it. And it's like,
No,
I
Jed.
don't know.
He's the asshole for leaving the window open and leaving the heat running when that affects somebody else's bill that isn't his.
yeah. No, that's what I mean. Is that, like, if he was told about
that part
this,
makes him an asshole without any of his response to it whatsoever.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. If he didn't know that they were connected, I wouldn't assume that keeping, like, I wouldn't
assume
that,
that, but if he's lived there a while, he probably knows, right?
Probably. I don't know. It doesn't elaborate.
I just don't really know what to make of that, is all. Like, there are too many, like, unknowns here, and it's like, where are you at? Fucking Czechoslovakia? Where are you at that you're, like, you are in a duplex with somebody, very clearly describing a duplex.
Yeah.
There are no 2 apartment buildings. What the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah.
But, like, not any that I know of. But then again, I don't know many apartment buildings that share heating and cooling across every room no matter what. Even cheap motels give you a fucking thermostat that controls your room
dude.
exclusively. How the hell are you able to do that? You're living in a FEMA camp over there without any, like, control over the heating and cooling for
Seriously.
yourself? Damn near it. That's the most first world thing I've ever said, but I stand by it in that, like, having to, like, share what the thermostat is at with a stranger who has, like, equal control over it and opposite opinions on what the weather inside should be. That is an unlivable scenario. That
Yeah,
is
well, from
I'm
what I'm
out of here
understanding
this
here-
week. I would genuinely like rather take the shame as a grown adult of moving in with my parents for a while I find a place than live that way.
From what I'm understanding here, for some reason, because I'm reading some of the comments, and they've elaborated on it. Apparently, they have separated heating and cooling because he runs his own heater separately. But they're just connected vents. So it's just a really poorly made.
Yeah, it's just a shoddily like built
system.
system. Yeah, that's all. They're pulling from the same source, and there's only so much, and yada yada. Like, that's what's going on here.
Yeah.
But still, that's what I'm saying. It's affecting this other guy in that like you're wasting all the goddamn heat, and he's got to pay for it too because he's unknowingly running his shit way hard. Like hell, this might be worth going to court over. Frankly, genuinely, I might make this a fucking
amount of money,
issue with the courts for $200 on my light bill. I will go to court. Fuck it. You know?
Yeah, and
man.
I definitely think he's the asshole.
He's the asshole,
but
for sure.
I don't know. Had the guy come over and been like, "Hey man, I see your windows open. I think our vents are connected. Would you mind keeping it at a regular temperature and try to like even it out?" I would be like, "Oh shit, yeah. Let's see if let me do that, and then let me put in like a complaint with my, the company that owns the apartment complex, and go like, hey dude, what the fuck."
Yeah, that's how it should have been handled.
Like,
He shouldn't have come out like not physically swinging, but metaphorically. He shouldn't have come out swinging like the second the door opened on the like yelling and whatnot. Yeah, maybe, but like if you're cold, I'll buy you a sweater. Really?
That's some like, oh, are you serious? Yeah. Oh man.
Like that's some like Mean Girls shit, dude. Like what are we saying to each other as grown men?
A lot of the people in the comments are talking about how like the pipes are going to freeze in his apartment and shit, and it's like at first I was like maybe not, probably not, because I sleep with my windows open. But here's the thing. I sleep with my window open in a home that has central heating and in a room that is disconnected from the rest of the heating. Like the heating's just broken. The vents don't connect to that room. So like his pipes might be freezing, actually. That might be the one thing to make this like really seriously like that's fake. But nonetheless,
yeah. All right. You want me to take
story.
it? Yeah, that was that story.
Take it to our next one.
Yeah, that guy's the asshole. By the way, we've clarified that. We've clarified that. I think. Let's go to something a little more complicated. Let's go for something a little more complicated. 3-2 in favor of not the asshole right now. Am I the asshole for telling my coworker to stop trauma dumping on me during our lunch breaks? This is a situation I don't think I'd ever get out of. I think I would just be miserable during my lunch forever before we get into this.
Yeah.
Because just how do you do it? Like, even if there were a way, I don't know how you would even begin. So, let's get into it. Let's get into it. This sounds pretty insensitive, but stay with me here. 32F, work in a pretty fast-paced office, and lunchtime is kind of sacred for me. They use an M dash here. There's been a whole controversy about nobody ever using an M dash and how it's like a chat GPT thing to do. It's the it's like the extra long dash thing that's in every chat GPT. Like, yes, chat GPT does use it a lot, but real people do too. Like, it's a real writing technique. But anyway.
Yeah.
But lunchtime is kind of sacred to me. It's the 1 hour a day where I can actually relax, scroll my phone, and just eat in peace. Recently, a new coworker, let's call her Amy, 29F, started sitting with me almost every day during lunch. And at first, I didn't mind. She seemed friendly, a bit quiet, but nice. So yeah, they've got a new coworker. This shit's sick. We're on a good trajectory here. You know, unfortunately, I think this is already kind of a problem for me. If I'm routinely, this is gonna be very like I'm having an autism moment here, folks. I say that to say that I'm having if I've made it my routine to eat my lunches alone explicitly because my work is very busy and like fast paced and hectic. No matter how quiet and unintrusive they are, like having somebody join me for lunch would always be a problem to me. Like it would always be a little bit of an annoyance to me, I think, no matter how like unannoying the person was. Hell, if you showed up, somebody I'm like the coolest with in the world, during time where I was like, man, I want to be the fuck alone, dude. Leave me the hell alone. You know, this is my alone time, and I want it. God damn it. You know, like that's I understand where she's coming from on the like. It's kind of annoying to have that alone time interrupted. But either way.
Oh yeah, 100%.
You got anything to say so far for where we're at? Paragraph 1.
Nothing so far. Nothing so far.
Or line break 1, I suppose. It's not quite a paragraph. But then she started oversharing a lot. Every time we'd sit down, she'd launch into something heavy. Childhood trauma, toxic relationships, family drama, and therapy sessions even. At first I tried to be supportive, thinking that she was just, like, needing somebody to talk to, but it became every single day. I leave lunch feeling drained instead of refreshed. Last week, after yet another intense session, she cried over a story about her ex. I gently told her that lunchtime is not the best space for this kind of conversation, and that I said that I didn't want to be rude, but I need that hour to decompress too. And then she got really quiet. Then later sent me a message saying she felt rejected and like I lacked empathy. Now I'm getting weird looks from a couple of the other coworkers she talks to, and I'm wondering if I came off as cold. I do feel bad, but I also feel like it's not fair to dump emotional weight on somebody every day during a work break. Am I the asshole for telling her to stop trauma dumping? No!
Yeah, so, no. Unless, like, if she went into that, and she, of course, this is a post written by her, so we have to take into account that. If she went into it and was like, can you shut the fuck up about it? Lunch is not the place to do it. If she had done something like that, yeah, that's kind of fair to be like, hey man, dude, you don't gotta be a dick. You could have just told me to stop. But, like, if she did just politely, and that sounded very polite when she said, like, hey, I don't think lunch is the best place to be having these conversations. I also need time to decompress. If she said it as fucking, like, collected,
like as written
as
there.
She wrote it.
That's how it's punctuated.
Then
that's how it's annotated for tone. It's all there. But
yeah.
Like she's not the asshole. Like not even a little bit here. And I feel like a lot of people would try to make her an asshole. Cause there's okay. So I think we can all agree that you should try to be inclusive. You should try to make sure that you include as many people as possible in your space and in your like fun and joy as possible, because the more the merrier on that sort of thing, I find at least. But the thing about that is some people just don't mesh. Some people cannot read a room, some people do not fit. Some people will soil your joy by simply being involved. And like sometimes it's not even their fault. I don't think this woman was being I think the woman who this coworker that was complaining was being inconsiderate. I don't even think she's an asshole. I think she was just kind of inconsiderate and then became an asshole afterward for like being a dick about a very polite, assumedly, like we're working with the text here. A very polite like, hey man, I need my lunch as well. Like I know that this is good for you, but I need it too. So like sorry, man. This is all I can do. I apologize.
Yeah, please offer me, like, please give me my space when I ask.
Like, politely asking for your space back. And, like, I find that there are some people out there who will genuinely, like, make you feel like the asshole in that situation, which I'm sure she came away feeling like because of this post. Because, like, someday, this is one of those rare Am I the Asshole posts that read, like, it's genuinely asking, like, hey, is this my bad? Did I do this wrong?
Should I have just, like... Yeah. No, and I don't think so. I don't think so at all. Again, I agree with you, where the girl who was trauma dumping, it's, like... I understand that isn't necessarily something you can control sometimes, especially if you feel like you're with somebody, and you want to connect with them in that way, sure. But, like, after you're told, I don't think you have the right to be upset about it, you know? Like, it's okay if they don't want to listen to you. It's such a bizarre, like, entitled, that this person sounds like, where it's like, you won't listen to me and that makes me feel rejected. And it's like, no, I just don't have the time right now. I'm not your therapist. I don't get paid. You know?
Yeah,
and that's how I feel about it.
And I understand that not everybody can afford therapy, and I've been known to do my fair share of ranting, raving, venting, and I don't have a fourth one. I was hoping, dude, I was really praying that my brain would come up with a fourth thing that rhymed with raving to like line that up real nice, but I'm sorry, man, we fucked up the Telltale Games QuickTime event on this one.
Damn, dude.
But moving on. I think, like, I do my fair share of venting to my friends where, like, comfortable and where possible, or where needed, and I allow my friends to vent to me a lot. But I know what it's like to have somebody around who, like, will show up and, like, drop a bunch of baggage on you, just, like, immediately,
Yeah.
and it's like, man, like, I don't keep people like that around. I don't have anybody in my current life that I think overshares. I have a lot of people who overthink, which is 90% of the reason I'm making this clarification. But I don't have any people who like overshare that hard with stuff that will make me upset too. Like I don't get that bothered by other people's problems. I thank goodness I have that. Like I'm empathetic, I'll empathize, but I'm not carrying your shit with me, no matter what it is, really.
Oh yeah.
Like that's just like a hard thing in my brain of just like if it's somebody else's problem and it's not mine, it's not my problem, you know?
Yeah.
But the thing about that was the thing about this is that like I've been there, man. I've been in that exact fucking spot and I've had to deal with it. And every time you feel like you're the dickhead for like doing it. Like you feel like the asshole 110%.
Yeah, and like it's not your fault for saying, "Hey, I need space." And I think
no, not at all.
I think this story is real. This story sounds real. This story
this sounds
just
like
falls
too,
into that just
like
boring
it's just
enough.
mundane enough. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly.
But I think fairly comfortably, not the asshole.
Not the asshole
which leaves us
again.
with 4-3, I think. Yeah, 4-3 or
4-3. 4-3.
no, it was 3-2. Yeah,
it's 3-2, so now it's
then
4-2.
it's 4-2. Yeah, there you go. We
right.
remember numbers. We can count well on this show.
We count good.
We count good.
Come back next week.
Right.
We'll count gooder, dude.
Goddamn. We aren't at the end already, are we?
We might make it to fucking 7. Heavens no, Jed. What's your next post?
Okay. Goodness. All right.
We got plenty of
let's
time.
go
Break out a
ahead.
long one, in fact.
I've gone through a couple of my long ones, but here's my longest one.
Yeah, get the longest
I've got
one.
like
What's
an
left?
incredibly short one.
Because it's definitely the like bring out your dead. If you've got a post that'll be too long, now's the time. Like this last call for like post too goddamn long. So go right ahead.
Am I the asshole for telling my wife to stop crying about missing out on our daughter's wedding? As the title says, my wife,
my God. Oh, wait,
53F,
hold on.
and I...
I saw this one.
You saw this one?
I saw this one while I was scrolling past. I didn't read it. I didn't even look at it. 'Cause I was
It's
like,
pretty funny.
that's like too cartoonishly like evil. Like that's too like
Yeah, I know.
no man was born this unempathetic. What could possibly be happening here? Anyway, continue. Let's get this post started.
This one has a really good like clickbait title.
Give
As
us
the
the
title
setup.
said, my wife, 53F, and I, 55M, have 3 children. Brett, 27M, Amy, 25F, and Lynn, 24F. Now let me say, I love all of my children in their own way, but no child has ever given me a headache like Lynn. She's our wild child, got a college degree at 16, began working and saving up, moved to Louisiana once she turned 18, got more college degrees, and lives a pretty nice life. I'm proud of her, of course, but she always has been wildly independent. Argumentative, she's always been a wildly independent, argumentative, intelligent little girl. She's the more social one, too. She's covered in tattoos, piercings, and always has funky hair. I'm proud of her. I love her, but she's always been our non-traditional child. So that's the setup for who Lynn is.
That is the setup. So Lynn is for like the lack of a better word, the problem child in this scenario. They're the one that like
Yeah.
You know, they have like if you get a call from the school, it's probably that one. I understand the setup.
Yeah,
here.
and it's not necessarily for a bad reason. It's just Lynn is like a very on their own, making their own shit. But
like just out there, just the one that's like, yeah, this. If it's any of them, you know,
it'll be this one.
It'll be this one.
Lynn met her now. Lynn met her in parentheses now husband Brad, 27 male, when
not
she
at the
first
time.
moved to Louisiana. Yeah. Brad is like Lynn. Tattoos and piercings up the wazoo. Non-traditional. He's a good kid. I like
Dude,
him.
I'd never get
He
my
protected
wazoo
Lynn
pierced.
and his... You'd never get your wazoo pierced?
I
Yeah,
would never
that's
get a
a scary
piercing up
one.
my
I've
wazoo,
heard it hurts.
dude. Yeah, no, that shit is. Oh.
They right up there, dude.
They always look scary too. They got ones that'll like run along the base of it. That ones that'll like pierce straight through the head of your wazoo, dude. It's
Listen,
oh,
man, I really don't want to talk about my wazoo on public.
Yeah,
in
let's
public.
let's keep that out of the. Let's keep our wazoos out of the public discourse before we end up in a big fucking hullabaloo about all of it. All right, give it to us. Piercings, tats.
Yeah, he protected
This guy.
Lynn and has been by her side for a lot of things. I actually love the kid for protecting my baby girl. Lynn will be the first child of our... That was the first time I've ever said baby girl before. I don't know if you could hear it. My mouth, like, struggled.
Baby girl. Yeah, you ever hit a phrase like that? How often do you hit phrases like that? Because I've said, like...
Yeah.
I had, like, a moment the other day where I was reading... Oh, no, I was reading one of these posts this morning. It wasn't yesterday at all. It was this morning. Because I was reading one of these to myself, one of them that I didn't pick, about some guy whose, like, son was crying for 3 hours while he took a long shower, and he was just so devastated about it that he needed to, like, confess on Reddit.
Aww.
But it's like, the sentence, he was crying for daddy for 3 hours, was in there, and I said it, and I haven't said that word
Yeah.
since I haven't said that word more than 5 times since like 2016 when like it was like very funny to say it in a sexual context. I never said it like that because I'm not a fucking bottom.
Yeah.
All right? I was never cracking jokes
All
like
right.
that. Not for a minute, dog. Big dog business,
Whatever
I
you
tell
say,
you.
man.
But
Whatever you say.
hey man, my butthole is not run through. All right?
There you
My
go.
ass is
That's gonna
fat
be our
because no
quote.
one can have it.
I've been meaning to change the quote on our what's it called, card page for you.
That one's it.
For
My
both of us,
butthole
and
is
I
not
think
run
that one's
through.
it. I think
You
my
gotta get the
butthole's
hey man
not
ahead
run
of that in there.
through.
That's
Yeah,
the best
hey
part.
man is important.
Do you know? Because
right.
think about it. Think about a hey man, my butthole is not run through next to that picture of me screaming, like that drawing of my character screaming, like pointing the finger accusatorily.
Yeah. Oh man.
What a solid
Lynn will
quote.
be
What
the
a
first
solid
child
quote we
of
got from
ours.
this. Yeah, right. Lynn. Lynn and their
Lynn will be the first
wazoo
child of
tatted
ours.
boyfriend.
Of course. To be married. So when we heard about the news of their engagement, my wife was super excited. She started talking about wedding planning and all that girl stuff. Lynn and this is a very like he's a very 55M person if I've ever seen it with how this post reads out. Lynn and Brad were both upfront
Giving off
about
big
not wanting a wedding.
55M energy.
Yeah.
Giving
And
like
just wanted a small party.
Oakley sunglasses, trucker hat in the car, kinda to the right of frame, Facebook profile picture.
Exactly.
Anyway, hear more about this 55M. Let's go. We gotta get through this thing.
Lynn and Brad were upfront about not wanting a wedding and just wanting a small party with mainly family and some friends as a celebratory thing. My wife was very upset and pushed Lynn till she reluctantly agreed to plan a wedding. Not even a week into wedding planning, Lynn and my wife had a spat about floral arrangements, which led to Lynn flying back home to Louisiana. Lynn announced that they had eloped and they would be planning a small, intimate get-together in New Orleans around Halloween time. My wife lost it. Her and Lynn got in a huge argument over the phone, which led to them both not speaking. My wife cries every time this situation is brought up, saying she missed out on her little girl's special day. After a few weeks of this nonsense, I finally snapped and said, "Why are you surprised? Lynn didn't want a wedding in the first place. She's our least traditional child. I'm just glad we got the engagement announcement. Stop crying about it and wait till Brett and Amy get married because they're the ones who will actually enjoy that wedding shit." My wife called me a few names and has been avoiding me. I really don't mean to be an asshole, but Lynn is the last child I'd expect to have a big grand wedding. I mean, for fuck's sake, she's a nurse that does hair on the side who's a practicing witch. That child makes no sense. I'd more expect Brett to want to have a big wedding when he and his boyfriend eventually get engaged. It also just felt wrong since she tried forcing it on Lynn in the first place. Lay it on brutally for me. Do I roll over and apologize or continue to stick up for Lynn over this mess? Which I guess is the am I the asshole?
That's the whole thing?
And
No edits, no nothing?
That's the whole thing. No edits.
Okay.
I
got thoughts. No,
You got
no.
thoughts?
We
Okay.
don't have to get into comments. I think we're too late into the show to be getting too deep into the comments, unless it's like a quick thing. But like, I feel like no, kinda, a little bit, sort of. I think you could have stood to have a little more tact about it, and that's what makes you the asshole.
I think so.
You could have broached the subject with like a sit down and a look. I understand that like your kid getting married, especially because like they said Lynn was the oldest, right?
No, Lynn's the youngest.
Lynn's the youngest, okay, but the first married,
She's
right?
just the first to get married. Yeah.
Right, yeah, no. So missing out on the first one of your kids' like weddings is just, it's a bad foot forward. But honestly, did she probably deserve to get yelled at? I mean, I understand wedding planning is hard for like women because they really like the women who are really into that. I've yet to meet a groom that was like leaving to have his wedding somewhere else in secret. Maybe that's a thing. I hate to generalize. I'm sure there are men out there who do it too. But it's definitely more of a female-centric activity to, like, plan your wedding. I helped plan my wedding, and it was lovely. But...
Yeah, but it was a small get-together, like Lynn would have wanted, I would argue. Like,
yeah.
it's very clear this,
but it's just
this
like,
mom
the thing about it is,
like...
this mom clearly is somebody, based on the fact that who... this is what I was saying. Who in the world gets mad helping their daughter plan their daughter's wedding for their daughter when they say, I want flower arrangement B and not flower arrangement A? You say, all right, whatever you want. Sure, we'll do that. You do not argue about the fucking flower arrangements to the point where you drive your daughter away to have her wedding somewhere else
to
without
go back to
you.
Louisiana. She was on board until you, like, force your shit down her throat. Like, she didn't want to get married.
She was, like, ready
in
to
the
do
first
it,
place in front
and
of people.
clearly, was
As a
somebody
favor
who,
for
like,
you.
was like, yeah, my mom really cares about me having a wedding. I'll do it for her, but I want to do it my way. And then, like, the second she started to get into it and pick out flower arrangements, and it seemed like you guys were having a good time, you let the flower arrangements prevent you from seeing your daughter get married. That's the only thing that stopped you. You let some petals on some stems, curated by a stranger, dictate that will sit in the background of photos where you won't even look at them.
Yeah,
They'll just,
like, they're
it'll
gonna
just
be
be
the
an
center
object
of
in
tables.
frame. It's gonna be a fucking table centerpiece at best. Like, a lot of people do their floral arrangements as, like, big wall pieces nowadays, so that's what I think of it as. But, like, as centerpieces is a little more integral to the event, but, like, it's still not something worth crashing out so hard at your own daughter that she just goes, fine, fuck it, I'll just go. I'll have it somewhere. I'll have it on my own. I'll do it my way. Fine. Like, that's... Because, like, I could get to that point. I've been described as a Lynn my entire life by, like, the boomers in my life of, like, that 55M age of just, like I am one of, like, the weird people they talk about where it's like, you just don't get it. But, like, what you do get, you get really well, and that's that, like, Lynn wanted to do it this way, and instead of respecting, like, your daughter's wishes, you went another way with it. She went with you.
Yeah.
And then you wanted to push it and push it and push it until you drove your fucking daughter away. And, like, so maybe she has earned being yelled at a little bit about it. Maybe somebody needed to scream some sense into her about it. Because, like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Sometimes shit just has to pop off. Maybe I'm just, like, looking for chaos here, but sometimes people need to be yelled at. Maybe it didn't need to happen here, and he is an asshole for it, but, like, it's not the biggest sin in the world. What are your opinions?
If I'm sitting next to my wife and she's been crying for, like, a month, nonstop, anytime a wedding is even brought up, she, like, goes into tears because she missed her baby girl's wedding, that's fucking annoying, honestly. It was your fault that it didn't happen in the first place.
Exactly. Like, I understand the yelling. I'm not even against the yelling.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that if you could take issue with any of it, it would be that.
He could have been a little bit better. I do like the guy, though. I went through some of his comments. Everybody who said not the asshole or anything and made any comments about it, he starts every single reply to it with, that's what I'm saying.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. He also somebody else in the comments had also brought up that like he was surprised that she wasn't the gay one, that Lynn wasn't the gay one, and he said Lynn was the original gay one, came out as pansexual, but then Brett took the spotlight by coming out as full gay, and then he said I love all my kids to pieces, so he definitely does care. And like, I don't know, he's not like
I think he's just a guy who
homophobe.
flew off the handle at his wife one time. You know, I don't know if he's an
because
asshole,
she was
but for the sake of this, like
a control freak.
For this thumbs up, thumbs down story, like a story where one guy in the story has to be the asshole, and it like usually is the guy in front. I think he's not the asshole. I think is my verdict. I think I'm gonna have to throw down the gauntlet and go like just toss the towel in the ring, submit that paper. It's not getting any better. It's got to be a no. I was on a yes tentatively. You swayed me. You swayed me a little bit. His wife is so much more the asshole in this story that, like, I can't be mad at the guy who posted this, really. Like, I think I would be more mad at him about addressing it by, like, screaming first. But there's nothing really to, like, address there. That's it. When like, the other side of it, the person being screamed at, like, did something, like, far more, like, notable. Maybe not egregious, but definitely more notable as, like, an issue. Yeah.
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 In fact, it was loudly noted on. Not the asshole.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not the asshole. And that it
We
leaves
got
us with
enough
5-2.
assholes. That leaves us 5-2.
You need more assholes, dude.
Here, I'll get us a final
You got an
one.
asshole?
I'll see if I have an asshole. I'm pretty sure I have an asshole here somewhere. I have some stories that have assholes in them. I have a story that has an asshole in it. Here we go. Just a real asshole. Okay, I know how you feel about tipping culture. So, this is something I wanted to talk with. This is something I wanted to include as, like, this was going to be my linchpin to win. Like, I felt like we would argue about this pretty heavy. So, let's see it. Am I the asshole? With the H, by the way. It's weird that sometimes there's an H and sometimes there's not. Am I the asshole for not tipping after hearing what the waitress said about me?
Oof. All right.
Right out the gate, how we feeling on that title?
Right out the gate, I think that I'm a big tipper. I'm a very big tipper in the sense that, like, if I have bad service, I give 15%. If I
Constellations
have
that can't pronounce
service,
their D's for 500. What is?
If
I
have
am the
okay
big tipper.
service, yeah, I'll typically give about 20%, and for great service, I'll give 25 and up sometimes, depending. Like I just shoot. That's just what I do.
I go dead middle and just go for the 20, and then if it's anything less than $20, I just throw a 5 on the table, no matter what it was. Like, if it's a place worth tipping, I'm getting, like, at least $10 worth of stuff, but if I'm not getting 20, I'll just still give 20% of 20.
Yeah,
like, that's my minimum tip, is just, fuck it, I got a $5 bill, or fuck it, I'll just put a 5 down here. I can spare, because that's my thought, is that, like, absolute minimum, as long as the service was tolerable, like, I can spare the $5 on my meal. I was going to spend 15 here, now I'm spending 20. That's not that big of a difference for me. So, it's like, it's just a good line. Anyway, you're a big tipper?
I do think that
you do think?
tipping culture is bad. I definitely, I don't think that needs to be clarified that
no, of
we
course.
should be paying our workers. But nonetheless, I think that if they provide a bad service, it is partially in the tip to, you know, it's a review in some way. That was the word I was looking for, a review.
Yeah, it's a ranking.
And if you say something bad about the customer, no shit, you're gonna have a bad review. You know? Yeah. But okay, continue on.
All right. But let's get into it. I 30F. Oh, excuse me. Hold on. There we go.
We really hate 30-year-old females on this show. We
30F.
hit our demographic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, 30-year-old females are oof, man, they're like they're the worst.
We've got the, like, mothers.
Had to take a pause.
A little bit older than them. Otherwise, no. Anyway,
I, the 30F, was at a restaurant last night with my mother, and she was meeting my boyfriend's mom for the first time. And I want to take a stop right here to talk about, like, I know we're one sentence deep, but we're having a dinner so that your mom can... Who cares? Who gives a fuck? Why do these two people need to know each other? I just don't see...
I guess that's...
Maybe they're
Okay.
both people who don't have many friends their age, because like I see that's a problem for like the elderly,
Yeah.
and people of
The
sort.
elderly for a 30-year-old woman.
No, she's 30, but she's talking about her mom. Like she's bringing
Yeah.
her mom to meet her husband's mom or her boyfriend's mom or whatever, boyfriend's mom for the first time. We're punctual people, so we get there about 30 minutes before our reservation, which is that's very respectable. It's good. I would never show up 30 minutes before, but I'll show up. I'll show up like on time. Like I'll be there
I
at
do
the
that
minute.
relatively.
I mean, other than maybe the server will need a minute, so maybe I'll go in like a couple minutes early, like 5, and give them like a 5 or 10 minute notice that like, hey, we're like on the phone, just like, hey, we're on the way. We'll be there in 20 minutes. And it's just like you might think, as some people do, why not show up earlier? People show up early for these sorts of things. It's a reservation. I gave the restaurant a date, a time, and a number of people. That means I show up at that time. I shouldn't be obligated to be fucking punctual for the restaurant. I shouldn't have to give the host a heads up message. They should know I'm coming. I told them last week I was coming. But regardless,
Yeah, no,
regardless, we got seated with no issues. It took the waiter 20 minutes to get our table, even though the restaurant was pretty empty. Right away I could tell that she didn't want to wait on us. She didn't greet us with a hello. She just asked what we wanted to drink. We told her, and then I noticed that she didn't write our order down, and it took another 15 minutes to get our drinks to our table. And they were wrong. It's hard to mess up a ginger ale and a vodka soda, but she did it.
wow.
And that's paragraph 1.
Okay.
I'm already kind of like pissed on their behalf at the service here. Well, maybe not pissed, but I'm already kind of miffed as just like, oh man, this sucks. Like, so I kind of see where they're coming
like a
from on just like
dickhead?
a little just like maybe like that's usually like that level of shit is the worst I'll put up with. That level shit is just like maybe the server's having a bad day, benefit of the doubt, put it out of my mind, don't think about it, and then it's gone. But like any worse than that, and you're not getting a tip, or at least you're getting money off it. There's no fucking way.
Yeah.
But either way, you got any thoughts? We're one actual meaty paragraph deep into this thing. Well, not meaty, but a paragraph.
I don't have a ton more thoughts other than I think that tipping absolutely
Would you still
zero
tip at this point?
At this point, I would still tip. This would be a 15% tip. This would be
a 15?
all right, whatever.
I think that's fair
Yeah.
by your own scale, at least. It's not fair by my scale, but it's fair by yours, and so whatever.
Yeah.
My mom pointed out that she didn't order a Pepsi, and the waitress rolled her eyes, took my mother's glass, and then disappeared. I excused myself to use the washroom shortly after, and had no idea where I was going, so I went to the entrance to ask one of the hostesses there. While I was walking up to the server area, I overheard my waitress talking to some other hostesses. She was pissed that she had to wait on, quote, a black table, unquote.
Oh, wow.
Because, quote, they, unquote, never tip well. My mother and I were the only black people at the restaurant. She wasn't even whispering when she said it either. That was the moment that I knew this was going on my list for, like, the episode.
Yeah.
Was because they wait that
Yeah.
long to drop "that's the reason why" on you, because you're just as lost as they are.
God.
As to, like, why does this
damn.
service suck?
That no, that's like called like you can have the business shut down over something like that. Over like mistreatment.
That's a scary place to be as a business owner, having that shit happen in your restaurant, and that's a bad place to be as like a person of color too.
Yeah.
No good ends of interacting with this waitress are good. Or no ends of it are good, at least. There are good ends, and they're not good. I was stunned, but her lack of effort started to make sense.
I was, actually.
I interrupted the conversation to ask where the bathroom was, and I didn't let on that I had heard that they were what they were talking about. When I got out of the bathroom, my boyfriend and his mom were already seated. My boyfriend and his mother are white. When my waitress saw the rest of our party, she did a 180. Her service was stellar. She took notes, told jokes, and our water glasses were always filled. She didn't make another mistake the whole night. What the hell? What in the fuck? Like, you gotta at least keep that energy for the whole table, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I feel like that would like there's another like level of fuck you to this, and it's the switch up.
This is like deplorable. Yeah.
This is pretty bad. I think this is what I got from like one of the top all time. So, or not top all time, but top this year or top last year. Oh man. Because the night went so well, I decided to treat everybody and pay the check. She gave me the machine, and I smiled at her while I laid in a 0% tip. She didn't notice until after the receipts had been printed out, and by that time, all of us had already started to leave. And she tapped me on the shoulder and asked if I had made a mistake on the bill, and I told her I didn't think so, which is a bad question to get, by the way. I hate the have you made a mistake on the bill. Because it's either, like, it's always tipping related, but I always immediately, my brain goes to, they think I'm, like, dine and dashing for some reason. Like, I've done something at some point in this interaction to make them believe that I'm trying to, like, con them out of a couple bucks on the bill somehow. Oh, no. And so that's the only reason I ever entertain that shit at all, is just like, oh, fuck, did I do bad? No. But she asked if I had made a mistake on the bill. And I told her I didn't think so, and looked at the receipt. She asked if there was a problem with her service, and I said her service was fantastic, but since I was a black woman, I didn't tip very well, and her face went white. And she just kind of laughed nervously, and I laughed too, and then I walked out after that. But my boyfriend's mom asked me what happened. I told her what I had overheard, and my boyfriend's mom said that I shouldn't have tipped her anyway because it shows character. She seems pretty pissed, or I should have tipped her anyway because it shows character. She seems pretty pissed at me after that. My boyfriend and mom were both on my side, but I'm wondering if I should have just thrown her a $2 tip and been done with it. No. Fuck no. Same
actually,
answer.
in fact, like, she deserves, like, hey, can I speak to your manager? Like,
you should have done more. You should have gone
like
further.
you should have had your meal comped, brother, because you could have had it, dude. That entire table's worth of food could have been free to you. You missed out on an opportunity.
A person of color standing at the at the hostess stand where people come into the restaurant screaming words like racist waitress and fucking like discrimination of service, and you're gonna have an issue. Yeah. And then you're gonna have coupons.
Yeah. You're gonna have,
and then
like,
you might be able to, like, still,
like...
You could still go further with it. I don't know if I'd go further than the meal. I think the meal is, like, if I got with the manager and they were like, fuck, alright, my bad.
Yeah, here's a meal.
I didn't know they were fucking like that. I'll have a talk with them. Your meal's free. Get out. You know, or at least here's, like, 20% off the top, back.
Yeah.
Because I think that's fair. If it were like 4 people, I feel like comping a fucking $200 meal or more. But still, for something like that, you have to. You genuinely you
have to, dude.
There's nothing you can
do. Like when I worked at JCPenney's, our like thing was like if the customer was even like mildly wrong and it was in any way our mistake, we have to comp it. Like
you just have to eat that
sign
cost.
in the wrong place. Yeah, that says like shorts are on sale 50%, and they pick up a pair of like bougie ass shorts that were just placed on the shelf there by accident. With more like if there are multiple there, they would just have to comp the like 50% of the bougie ass shorts.
Last time I was in like I can't remember what it was. I think it might have been a JCPenney or like a TJ Maxx. It was one of those like mall stores. That are like in every mall ever, but nobody but your mom ever seems to want to go there. Just that sort of thing. And we were in line. Macy's maybe, yeah. Definitely not a Sears. It wasn't a fucking Sears. No, those are closed. I heard somebody reference Sears the other day. In real life, I heard a real guy at the mall, like walking into the mall. They were like, "Oh yeah, and they've got a mall over here. Look, check it out. Let's go in. I wonder if they've got like a Sears." Like, does that guy not know? Does he not know? I don't know. But, not the asshole is the point I'm making here.
No.
That's what I'm calling right. I don't see how you could conceivably make them the asshole. And the fact that, like your boyfriend's mom did is worth looking into. It's worth thinking about. He was on your side, so maybe like it's got nothing to do with him. But like, keep an eye on your in-laws is all I'm saying.
Middle-aged, privileged white woman hears about racism and discounts it. I'm not terribly surprised. Like that's
middle-aged white person in
fairly
general,
common.
you know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I didn't mean to say white woman. Like this is.
There's been a lot of like effeminate centric topics today. It's fine. Nobody thinks you're like a woman hater or anything. I just want to be very clear that we're not woman haters, because there have been like 2 or 3 of those effeminate centric topics that were like bordering on stereotype almost to make a point. Yeah. And so like I don't want to seem like we're like dickheads like that, because like I don't think all women are fucking like on like the fucking Bridezilla or whatever, you know, or anything like that.
No, by no means.
Anyway,
but yeah,
but you were
not
saying
the asshole.
Not the asshole. I'm sorry. I looked over at this one and saw the biggest asshole of the day was in this story. I think. Who do you think the biggest asshole of the day? I think it's the racist. I think the racist kind of just blows it out of the water. But who do you think is second best? Because I think we've got some pretty good like even runners for second best. The fucking I'll buy you a sweater guy is my number 2.
I'll buy you a sweater is up.
He might even be my number 1. That might be worse than being racist to me one time. Would be being like costing me like $200 goddamn dollars and like low unworking heating for like a month. That's way worse, I think, at least. Than like
I'd be pretty pissed
poor service at a restaurant.
However,
granted, it's
one
rooted
has
in
a
racism.
lot different intent. Yeah, like for
yeah,
me,
but one
the
does
only
a lot more
that
harm than the other, I think. Not that racism is harmless, but like realistically, the only person that got hurt was the person who posted it, and she seemed like she wasn't really all that bothered about it as much as just fucking mad, just pissed that it happened and wanting to get back at her. And so it's not a no-harm situation by a mile, but, like, it's not, like, sleeping 22 degrees in my apartment because the guy upstairs won't turn his fucking heating down a degree, you know? Like, it's not like that with the window open, no less. God, that guy pissed me off a little bit. Like, what an amazing am I the asshole. I was genuinely a little bit annoyed at that motherfucker, because it's like, dude, this is the worst. What are you doing? I don't know. If people just being like inconsiderate in ways where they can't possibly be completely oblivious to it pisses me off more than anything. More than anything. Oh, yeah. And that's just like a personal pet peeve. Just a number 1, I think.
Mm-hmm. And I've been a bad host, as I have not kept time. Do we have time for another story? Are we doing the Jed sandwich?
We don't have time for another story. We don't have time for another story, but we don't get a Jed sandwich. I actually told a final story and thought it would work out nice. You know why? Because our final story has landed us at 1:57. And we've still got more stuff to talk about. Like, we've picked number 1 and number 2 for biggest assholes. I don't think we need to go down the list. Who do you think was, like, the least deserving of the shit they got today? Like, who's the most... Like, I think this last story might have it. Because she genuinely didn't do anything but be born a color. You know?
Yeah, her definitely, just because, like, she didn't do anything. But that's, like... When you're dealing with a racist, I feel like that kind of undercuts
this story just
everything.
wins everything. And I feel like a dickhead for bringing it out last minute. But, like... who's number 2 in that case? I think
second up, probably Lynn, the like daughter of that guy who like was like bullied into getting a wedding as like a favor for her mom, and then was like yelled at for not picking the right flowers for her own wedding. I think Lynn's got it.
Yeah, I want to hand out the award for our most inconsequential story of the day. To that one where that woman was kind of just annoyed about the gift she got for her birthday. And I'm annoyed about it too, to be fair.
I'm annoyed about the vacuum too, dude.
But like, some shit happened on this show today, alright? Like, we had some incidents and accidents that happened along some of these twists and turns of stories. And so, like, I feel like that's definitely, like, not to trivialize the situation she's in her marriage or anything, but like, know what? No, that resolved fine. I will trivialize it. That was nothing. That was just like a marital tiff that somebody put on Reddit because they were like mad.
Yeah.
And that's fine.
Do you have any stories left?
I have stories left, but like not enough to save.
Do they?
I only got one.
None
I've got one
funny
story
titles
left.
Okay.
No,
I would
funny
read out
titles.
the titles. No funny
You
titles.
got a funny title? You want to end us on a funny title?
Yeah, I'll end us on a funny title. Am I the asshole for telling my mom she can't share a room or a bed with her boyfriend in my home? that story is pretty. You don't need to know. Like,
no, I know that
the
story.
title
I've
tells
read that
it all.
story. Or not read it, but I've had it read to me on TikTok before. So like I know that one. So I'm glad the one we didn't get to was one that's pretty common. And the last one I have is less than a paragraph long. So I wouldn't like that. This is like 200 words long at best. So I wouldn't even want to use it really if I didn't have to. But all right, you wanna tell the good people where they could find the show, more of the show, and what's up with that? Go ahead.
I do. I'm quite proud of it. We have a card page. It's down in the description.
It's a fucking damn fine card page, dude. You really amazed me with that one. I sing its praises.
You've been getting progressively more hype about it. You started with, it's a pretty good card page. You've just been like ramping up.
Because every time I think about the card page, I think about how good it is, and then I'm equally as hype about it. It's just, I'm more hype. The hype amplifier isn't a hype amplifier over time. It's, I'm getting further and further away from having to sit and watch you work on this all day for an entire day and bragging about, like, look, I got the effect to work. And it's like, you did get the effect to work after complaining about not getting the effect to work for an hour. Yeah, it was very annoying to watch you do that. And we got no conversation in between it. And so, like, the further we get from that, the more I'm like, man, it is a really good card page. He's right to brag. It's a damn fine card page, and I'm glad we have it. But yeah, what can they find on that card, and when can they expect to find it?
Yeah, so you can click on the About the Host section and go all the way to the bottom, and you can find both of our socials individually if you'd like to watch Vox's streams that are currently on hiatus, or my streams that are currently on hiatus. And yeah, I think that about wraps it. Big shout out to my mom for coming on last week. And,
shout out Jed's mom, honorably. We didn't do like a proper guest review this episode because like the theme was like warranted jumping right in. But shout out Jed's mom. You know what? Thesis statement this episode: don't be racist. Let your kids have their weddings the way they want them, and then shout out to mom.
Out Jed's mom.
Yeah, shout out
to mom. Not Jed's mom, just
hypothetical mom. Just shout out your mom, my mom, their mom, all of them. Good job. It's the hardest job in the world, they say. See you around.
See y'all next time.